they can
Please reach
get
out
out there and
at
spill their humbug.
messagemy@gmail.com.
Well, let me spill my
relate
humbug.
to each other.
Because it's
that
all
conversation
humbug.
goes somewhere with depth. Create conversation amongst people who may not have ever had that conversation otherwise. Things that we can relate to each other on. If that conversation goes somewhere with depth, I'm only interesting because the people I know are interesting. And it's time that I shared that gift with the world.
Welcome to the show where we seek truth while staring the other guy in the eye and waiting awkwardly until he begins to speak. You know, the same tactics utilized by psychiatrists, probation officers, and probing spouses alike.
We are looking in the windows of his soul.
Well, what do you say, folks? Let's go. My name is Brandon Bourne, and I'm proud to welcome you to the self-proclaimed most interesting, informative, funny, and revolutionary podcast ever. The Hub. Now, before I continue, I must do one thing. This goes out to all the podcasters, YouTubers, internet chicks, gamer nerds, personalities out there. This stuff here is hard as fuck. Honestly, I had no respect for this medium, editing, producing, putting content together, trying to do something like this, and it is truly difficult. So, to any of y'all out there that do this, I've made fun of you in the past, I'm going to make fun of you in the future, but I respect you today.
It's more of a respectable joke now.
There you go, you're like...
I got some respect for you. I'm gonna clown you. I'm gonna have some more respect for you, you know?
Respectable
Respect for you.
joke. So, all that being said, it is official. I love making this show. So let's get right to it, shall we? Well, if old Trump ain't still trumping. A shot in the air and a badass power to the people pose had us thinking that there was no way he could lose. But wait, people, Joe's nap went a little late, and it wasn't before he most certainly woke now. Woke to the fact that just like bald light-skinned brothers, you too can be replaced. Insert Kamala, my campaign made $1 gazillion, and I officially haven't been endorsed yet. Harris. With a campaign that's rolling so fast, you'd have thought Democrats planned for this eventuality. It's a good thing stuff like that never happens in the good old US of A. But here's a few things that are really happening. The global economy sucks. Stock markets have faced all kinds of downturns. These natural disasters are starting to go. We've got hurricanes. I think we're on the D's. They do this alphabetical order thing. It's sort of interesting. In Venezuela, you apparently can steal your way to the top. President Maduro, although it's seemingly every poll shows him losing dramatic fashion, has apparently still stopped and gained full control over Venezuela, as he's done in the past. The U.S. presidential election. Since our last chat, we've had both a DNC as well as an RNC. These are the respective conventions for each party. There were stark contrasts on how to throw a party, but eerie similarities when it came to campaign promises. No taxing on tips. Apparently a border policy. Republicans seem to be more policy heavy, but interestingly open with some of their speakers. They had Amber Rose. I don't know if you know who she is, but if you know, you know. At a Republican convention, that's crazy. But what's interesting is apparently she's got a conservative dad in the household. She grew up with these values that she actually went against for a long time. I think a lot of us can probably relate to that, regardless of what side of the fence you fall on. You may have had ultra-liberal family, you may have had ultra-conservative family, and as soon as you decide to jump the fence a little bit, it's beef. We've all been there. But the fact is, with inflation, immigration, and abortion on the ballot, there's bound to be sparks flying in November, so pay attention, folks. The truth is that bringing people from different backgrounds and affiliations together can seem impossible at times, but because something seems impossible doesn't mean it's not worthwhile. I learn messages like this one sitting in the pew at my church, as I sit and listen to a well-read and exceptionally gutsy man who's compelled to do the hard thing, speaking publicly to people about a subject so many of us avoid. He takes on the task of teaching in a way that challenges what you think you know about Scripture and forces you to seek the most important gifts God has given us: His Son, His love, and each other. It's in that spirit that I'm reaching out to you.
Dear Ryan, my name is Brandon Bourne. You may know me from the first few rows at church on Sundays. A rather handsome brown fellow with a sunny disposition and what can only be described as the voice of an angel. But despite what you already may know about me, there's more. I also host an, as of now, little-known podcast called The Hub. The theory is to create a fun and loose environment where we can learn from each other. A place where we can agree to disagree, but acknowledge at the end of the day that knowing more about someone makes it easier to care about them, in turn making it possible to care what happens to them. The idea is to bring everyday impressive people together to discuss themselves, their specialties, and other interesting and sometimes heavy topics that might come up. I find you, sir, to be both interesting as well as impressive. Your passion and willingness to study and research topics is efficient and concise. The honest and informative way that you approach the word is refreshing. You ask the question, research it, and then report the findings and perspective with the time it was written. You're an honest-to-goodness seeker of truth, for all of our sake, and I love you for it. And it's for those reasons I'd like to graciously invite you to join me for a chat here at The Hub. Sincerely, Brandon Bourne.
Please reach out at messagemyhub@gmail.com.
The things that we can relate to each other on. If that conversation goes somewhere with depth, create conversation amongst people who may not have ever had that conversation otherwise. Things that we can relate to each other on. If that conversation goes somewhere with depth, I'm only interesting because the people I know are interesting. And it's time that I share that gift with the world.
The next conversation is brought to you from our tradesman vault. A tradesman is someone I met on or around an actual job site. For those of you who aren't familiar with me, I'm a journeyman electrician. In my not so many travels, I've met some wildly interesting and talented people. I'm always stunned by the knowledge, passions, and abilities humans possess, especially those in positions or jobs that you wouldn't expect to have such gifted and clever people. It's more amazing, in my opinion, a travesty that more of us don't have the opportunity to learn more about each other, from each other. But here at the Hub, we don't have that problem. Somewhere on my uncharted quest to the cosmos, I came across my next guest. But before I introduce you, I'd like to share a definition to the audience. Kosmic. Relating to the universe or cosmos, especially as distinct from the Earth. Extraterrestrial in space, from space. Heavenly, celestial, extra-mundane, otherworldly. Here at the Hub, we dive into the lives of what I consider to be remarkable individuals living among us, doing extraordinary things in sometimes ordinary ways. And today we have a guest who's a true jack of all trades. By day, he's an HVAC foreman, leading teams of making sure buildings stay comfortable all year round. But when he's not on the job, you might find him strumming a guitar, writing songs, or reflecting on his day as a college football standout. Oh, and did I mention he's about to become a dad in just a couple of months? You can also find his informative and direct explanations of current sports landscape on his podcast, That Guy Jig. Yes, folks, the jig is up, and let me be the first to introduce you to Kosmic. What's up?
Yes, sir. That was nice. That was nice, man. That right there. If you don't get an intro, that guy don't like you. And he probably just got you on the show for a couple clicks or something. You know what I mean? He's trying to use you. That was beautiful. I appreciate you for having me. And yeah, man, I'm very excited to be here. I love what you got going, brother. Love it.
That's what's up, man. And I love what you got going. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
We actually met through our friend who was a previous guest on the show. You may remember him. His name was Troy. And he told me, he was like, I met the guy, bro. You gotta meet him. He's into music. You rap, he raps. He does all these cool things. And he taught himself how to play the guitar in like a week. And it was probably years. And then we met. And then we finally actually ran into each other on a job site. Some big bearded white boy came running up to me and just grabbed my back and gave me a hug. And as I looked around and double-taked, the beard threw me off, but I recognized him, and it was my friend Troy.
You had to take the beard off. You had to remove him. Because look, man, Troy is one of the most unique individuals I've ever met. He's just a unique individual. He means nothing but well, and he's very, you know what he feels and how he feels. He's very direct, and that's one of the biggest things I respect about him. And he's just an overall good dude. When you look at people in the world and how the world's supposed to be, you need good dudes, and that's a good dude.
True. That's a kind human and an honest one.
Yeah.
As it is.
It's always good to know where you stand. When you're walking around not knowing where you stand, you're not really walking. You're damn near waiting. It sucks to wait. You know, firm ground is always good. So if someone's ever being direct and firm, that's fine. I know back in athletics, they say, coaches always say, if I yell at you, if I'm coaching, that means I care. But when I stop, that's when you need to be worried. Well, that's a life lesson. If someone's being direct, they're honest, that means they have a trust that you're going to take this information and apply it or do whatever needs to be done. And that's what you look for and need in friends. A lot of people have a lot of yes men. But hey, you know, firm ground.
Firm ground. And honest friends.
Yeah.
And an honest friend is a good one. One that's going to tell you when you messed up. Someone's going to tell you when you did something wrong. As Troy and I kind of talked about, those are sort of things that you learn from sports. Those are things you learn from organized social activity. Those are things you learn from your family and your parents and different people. And as you and I discussed earlier, to let y'all a little bit behind the scenes, we were talking about he's got, is it a grandparent?
Great uncle.
A great uncle. And I have an immediate aunt who are both, you know, older generations of black folks who have this information, this fleeting information that only they can share, and it doesn't get discussed, and it gets mixed up in messages from different people that are mixing it up and using it as ammunition, when the reality of it, it's just history. A person should know where they stand, know the history.
They say there's nothing better than first-hand accounts. That's the eyewitness account. Give me the eyewitness account. And that's what you have when you have older generation and older folks in the family. And that's where, like you said, you can get just the truth of the reality. And that's what's key. In a world where facts are not as important, it's always good to get some.
Always. And here we sit with a growing generation above us that's going with a generation below us that's different in ways, out of control in other ways, depending on how you look at it. There's been gunshots fired, kids going down left and right. Like, it seems like a couple of times a week I see something going down just right here in my town, and that's why we're thankful. We're thankful for things like the Olympics. We're thankful for things to get our attention off of this world, like politics. We're thankful for each other, to have people that we can go do things like this with. Speaking of the Olympics, I'm from Colorado. Wyndham Clark, golfer, Colorado. Anna Hall at Catholic, Greenwood Village, Colorado. Derek White, Celtics, Colorado.
Cooper.
All Colorado-bred Olympians. Are there sports athletes that you root for in the Olympics? Do you have any interest in the Olympics?
I'm going to be 100% honest with you, bud. The Olympics is when I'm really America. You understand me? I don't care if it's track and field, baseball, volleyball, swimming. As long as you have the US of A, yeah, I'm a fan.
All right.
I don't care. You know, my whole thing this year was that's the one time where the whole country should be united. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, you pay taxes in America. You are an American. I need you rooting for USA. I need you pulling for us for basketball, swimming, cross country, lacrosse. If we had a break dance team, you better be in there. USA. And that's, don't get me wrong. Basketball, women's and men's, I know the players. But overall, bro, Olympics, America. Red, white, and blue.
All right. Well, it's red, it's white, and it's blue, and it is American. You heard it here first. If you watch the Olympics, you too can be an American.
You just shouldn't be rooting for nobody.
Okay, this one bugs me. I'll remind you, this is a tradesman episode. So every time I'm on a job site, I've got these loud SOBs. I didn't even finish my story about our friends. This crazy white dude came up behind me with a big old beard. I recognized him, so on and so forth. We go back into old times, have this conversation. And then this other cat comes walking up. He's a rather skinny, tall fellow with a unkempt afro. And he's got these Carhartts on. He's not a small man. I'm talking about 6'2", 6'3", maybe 180 pounds. This is just me taking your weight if I was to, say, have to give one of those eyewitness descriptions we talked about.
Tall, slender brother with a fro. Yeah, 6'3", man. I'm not even 3 inches.
He comes scooting up, and Troy introduces him as the most wonderful human he's met in a long time. And when Troy says stuff like my man Kosmic here says, you believe him. And for that, we're here.
That's how we got here, folks. So don't ask how we got here. You have it.
There you have it. The story all wax. But the question is, tenors, HVAC technicians, air duct guy, like what's the right term? What do I call them?
I like to think of myself as a peacemaker. You know what I mean? No, but seriously. Because you think about how unpeaceful your house is when it's hot. Think about how unpeaceful your house is when it's cold as hell. Who makes that peace? Me. When you go into a hotel, what's the first thing you say? Oh, it's cold as shit in here. Alright, that's me. So, you can say what you want about the baggy pants and banging and all that, but honestly, I think I got a good role in the world, And listen, I implore every young man, seriously, every young man, if you not doing nothing and you trying to find a little something, get a trade. Get a trade, man. What's that one college commercial? He's like, you not doing nothing. You're just sitting around. What you doing? You not doing nothing. Come on. Come to college. That's what you need to do with the trade. Because honestly, you're going to get trained by somebody who lived life. And that's cool. And I'm not going to lie. You might meet an asshole. But you know what? You're going to get shit anywhere in life.
Anywhere you go, you're going to meet that same guy.
Figure it out.
Or gal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that we know the correct thing to call rather loud men in Carhartts is peacemaker.
There we go.
Aside from tenor, you got multiple hats. You play your instruments, you practice your craft, you get into the sports. What made you start a podcast, first of all, and then what made you start a podcast about sports?
I love sports, bro. I truly love this shit. And I understand that the Romans said we need sports to keep the people from focusing on the real problems. I understand what they're about. So,
are we talking Coliseum dudes marking each other in the ring?
You know what I mean?
They kept
sports.
Alluding to, my friend?
Yeah, because that's where they kept sports. You know what I mean? They wanted sports to keep it, But for me, I'm one of them fools. I was at the Coliseum distracted, Now, don't get me wrong. We can talk about it. We can. For me, man, growing up in Oklahoma, bro, sports is a lot. So football, basketball, baseball, these sports, that's just, I love it. And playing it in college and, doing all that jazz, it just brings me connected. And the sports podcast was, I just get tired of hearing humbug. So I feel like if they can get out there and spill they humbug, well, let me spill my humbug. Because it's all humbug. You know? Because sports is very, it's what you think. I mean, we can look at here. Sports is the only thing where you can say, this dude averages 30 points, this dude averages 26. But this dude that averages 26, he's way better. He's way better. You know, you have so many opinions. Michael Jordan's the greatest player of all time. Why? Because he's 6 for 6 in the finals. Well, if it's about chips, wouldn't that make Bill Russell? He got 10.
Oh, interesting thought.
But then now, different errors. You know, so it's open to debate. It's open for conversation.
Right.
It's very rare that you meet two people that are just like,
it's LeBron, not Michael.
You know,
it's
and
Michael,
they're in sync. You know, like that debate will go on for the end of time. Mike, LeBron, Kobe, it's gonna go on forever. You know, and the one time we could have had prime Kobe, prime LeBron, he ain't make it. So it's just like, that's why. And for me, bro,
imagine that, all three of them playing in a league at the same time.
Man, I don't know if the world would have been able to balance.
Or even now with, like,
you know,
wow.
It's the sports, bro. It's a great thing. It's a beautiful subject, man. It's no different from art, science. Not saying it's as serious, but it's the same. It's a subject. It's sports. We just talking sports, baby. You know, we just talking ball.
Despite the rather bloody origin of your conversation, I get what
you see what I'm saying?
But I grew up, you know, Pal League, football, school, sports. I love sports also. In fact, the first job I wanted, I knew I was too short to go to the league. I was like, I might be able to pull college out of this deal, but I wanted to maintain close to sports, so I was like, sports medicine. My big plan was to go into sports medicine and, you know, be able to get massages and know this and know that.
That's cool. It's all cool. Whatever you want to do is cool.
Any aspect. And anyone, like, that's the thing about sports. There's a manager carrying water. There's people on the sidelines. Other people selling tickets. Fans that just dig it. There's something for everybody when it comes to sports. It's certain things that cost so much money. Actually, I take that back. I got beef with the NFL about this money thing right now because the money's getting ridiculous. Buying a ticket's getting to be a pain in the hind. And
we both got beef.
Yeah?
Yeah, because they...
$1,000.
Yeah, I was supposed to get a little piece, but then they appealed, and then the judge ruled in their favor. I think they paid off the judge personally.
They could afford it.
Everybody was supposed to get a little bit of bread. I'm talking, you know, I heard 2-3 G's. That's just what I heard. Because you got to remember in the beginning, they was taxing.
That's beef we'll talk about in the future. If you got beef too, message my hub. Go on to that X account. Message my hub. Tell them about any of this. Talk about how much you love Kosmic. Talk about what you think about the NFL. Talk about what you think about the NIL. Because that's alluding to my next question that I'm going to get into with this fella right here. We're in Colorado where we got Neon Deion Sanders coming into the street last year. This dude, wrecked shop, came in, started firing people. And this year it seems to have taken a little bit of a reversion. The honeymoon's over. People are, I won't say, they're being less nice in their coverage of Deion and of CU in general. We looked okay. I think we won 4 games. What's the deal there?
Look, man, Deion, people, the national hate, in my opinion, I've talked about this a little bit, is due to unrealistic expectations. I think people forget Colorado didn't either won one game or didn't win a game the year before. They've been a dumpster fire of a program. So the fact that he's able to come in, bring players, have Colorado considered amongst these players is a win in itself. I think his persona, the way he carries himself, that makes people believe that he's going to win the national championship because he believes he's going to win one. And that's what you want from a coach. That's what you want from a guy who's coaching your son. And I just think if people had a more realistic view, they wouldn't get so much national hate. Yes, Shador Sanders is good. Yes, Travis Hunter is very good. But at the end of the day, a football team is 11 on 11. Okay? And yes, there's superstars on teams. But most of the time, you need 9 out of 11 players doing the exact right thing for a football play to work. That's just the truth of the reality. And last year, Colorado had great athletes. You look at the receivers, the running backs. Offensive line was dog shit.
Right.
If you don't have an O-line, forget about it. That is the fundamental of football. The number one thing that you have to have in football is an offensive line. And the second is the ability to run the ball consistently. Because consistently, that's ball control, which is time of possession, and you don't turn the ball over.
Offensive lines are like teachers.
Need them.
They deserve to get paid so much more.
Yeah.
For what
And
they
more
do.
recognition, but they never will.
Totally
They
unappreciated.
never will.
Never will.
You know?
Speaking of Dion, he was the first recipient of my Dear Dream Guest segment.
Yeah, I saw that. I heard that.
He hasn't gotten back to me.
He might.
Dion, if you're out there, message my hub at gmail.com. Feel free. Brandon Bourne, messages.
Come on, Dion.
You know?
Come on. Come talking. Come talking. I'm a fan. I want Dion to be successful. I do.
Absolutely.
But I just want people to understand it's not the same. It's NIL. You said this earlier. Name, image, and likeness. That changes the entire ballgame. These schools are now able to use third-party offers. They're able to pull from million-dollar accounts. And the thing is, not every school has the same amount of money. So that's just the reality. Dion might be able to get 1 or 2, but you need 3, 4, 5 to compete at that level. So he's going to need a couple more years. I think if Colorado gives him 5 total years, he can do something.
Will he give Colorado 5 years?
Well, he's not going to have a choice.
You think he'll stay?
He has no choice.
All right. End of the day. NIL, good or bad?
Excellent.
On that note, it's time now for the part of the show where I make an ass of myself to create comfort and camaraderie with my guests by breaking for a bit of fun. I lovingly call this segment Free Time. My guest gets the opportunity to actually pick how we spend the next few minutes of the show. Kosmic, I need you to choose one of these 3 proposed activities. Keep in mind, as your host, I must participate. However, I get to choose the subject for each of the following activities. Are you in?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Number 1, you and I make up a slam poem on the spot.
I just got one question. I don't want to be slammed. What is slam poetry?
Well, I don't honestly know. That was something I said just to relate to poetic types.
Well, I'm definitely down for some poetry.
But it's not like, I don't get the idea that it's like a battle.
No,
I think it's like I just saw that and you did it.
Yeah.
You and your girl look like it.
Yeah.
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 Thank you, guys.
I'm crying.
That's a preview.
It's raining outside.
I think that was a haiku.
But that's where I'm coming.
Okay. Okay.
I'm poetry mode.
That's option 1.
We got more options.
Yeah. Second option. You and I come up with a skit.
Okay.
So you get 90 seconds. You may have heard, the deep and heartfelt moment when Khloe Kardashian sat there looking at her husband about to die in the bunny ranch on the last episode. If you haven't seen it, go back and check out episode 1. It was epic.
Yeah.
So
Lamar was just he was all into that role, wasn't he?
And number 3, last but not least, we can have a 90-second freestyle to an instrumental.
I honestly was pretty comfortable with the poetry. It's slow. It's like slow freestyling, man.
All right. Well, you got a few minutes to get your mind right and do whatever cosmic activities it takes to get you ready.
Man, and just one more time, man. I appreciate you having me on here. Truly, man. Truly. I appreciate it, man. Through and through.
And I, sir, appreciate you and am more than thrilled to have you here. We'll be back in a few.
been a mistake to grab a mic again. I'm finally facing my demons and feeling right again. No lie, embracing the truth about who I really am. Let's never let mediocrity rule our life again. It may have been a mistake.
Most traffic specialists agree the zipper merge technique is the most effective method of merging two congested lanes, ultimately resulting in a minimal delay. Research shows it can reduce congestion by as much as 40%.
They go, you go. They go, you go. They go, you go. Don't fuck up this you go. No impulse. No impulse.
Yes, no impulse, but it's simple. It's simple. You wait, and they pass, and you go. And they wait, and you go. It just seems like you're slow, and they roll way too fast. And it's dangerous sometimes, and you might just not last.
If you didn't pay attention in this part of class, I want to kick you in the ass. Your ass is grass where mowing gets fast. Do not cut in traffic, jackass. Zipper merger. Zipper merger.
He's a
Zipper merger.
turd.
It's a zipper merger. You're in a construction zone. It's a zipper merger. Zipper merger. It's a zipper merger. Fun fact. Zipper merger is indeed the most optimal method to keep traffic from delaying and congestion. So if you fuck it up, you should be stoned with rocks. Like not like high. You shouldn't be like prescribed weed. You know, you should be stoned in the street.
My demons and feeling right again. No lie, embracing the truth about who I really am. Let's never let mediocrity rule our life again. It may have been a mistake.
We are live at 5.
There's a cough button for rich people. We're just ready to roll.
You're a rich girl,
Backyard podcast.
and you know it's doing fine, 'cause you know
Wait till you guys realize what it means to.
Wait.
And with that lovely rendition of a song, I think I know the song, but I'm not sure I understand that octave. I think only puppies and dead people can hear that particular high note.
Well, you know, it's always good to be represented.
Very
just
much.
like you are representing a dick.
I'm a thorough representation.
I have heard that octave, the right octave.
It came right there from the sternum, right from the center. Well, that was a little bit of the antics that you get here at the hub. I want to thank Kosmic. Went through all that pain of telling us how he really feels about zipper mergers.
When you live in a place of high congestion, you have to have zipper merger. You don't need people doing things on their own agenda on the highway. That's something we don't need. Equal opportunity. Take your turn. There you go. There you go. They go.
In my woeful ignorance, I'm going to be honest. In my ignorance, I never heard of zipper merging in my life. Because I am a merge hater. What I hate is on-ramp merging. People that get on the on-ramp and they slow down, or they don't understand that it's every other car as you get onto the highway. No longer.
Listen, I'm not going to
Fail
hold you
to zipper
accountable
merge.
personally, but I do know the law. Negligence is not an excuse. So eventually, bud, you gotta have to catch the fuck up.
Fair enough. We're gonna have heated debates here on the hub. I want you to understand this is where people look each other in the face and talk about honest, hard conversations. Zipper merging, football, ex-wives, politics, religion, all that. So, new daddy. Let's get to that. First of all, congratulations.
Yeah.
When are you gonna be having your new one?
October 7th. I think it's going to be more of the earlier side than late. They say she's in the top percentile for size and weight, so we're going to look to get into the WNBA money.
You and your wife are rather Amazonian humans.
Yeah, we're tall.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying. Versus you'd rather untall.
Small dicks.
You know.
You're like a large dick. A rather
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if we're being real, people come in all shapes and sizes. But yeah, we are tall. We are definitely a tall family.
And this,
I don't regret it.
You know what? I pray for you quarterbacks as boys and WNBA baby girls.
Yeah. Hopefully I can get me Angel Wilson left hand strong. We don't need too much. We just need enough. And that, I think, with a good tutor, one finger pointed at myself, I think she'll be all right.
With your tutelage on things such as zipper merging, hook shots.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of zipper merging in basketball, So just think about that, non-zipper merger.
Which idea gives you more anxiety, a boy or a girl?
Either. It all gives me fucking heartburn. With the way the world is, man, shit.
Favorite music to play or perform? Or listen to? Or any variation of the three?
It just depends on what the day is, man. Like, if I'm having a good day, we're just listening to some good music, man. Like, for example, if I'm trying to get up and grind, if I'm trying to get up and look for some money, think of a plan, we listen to Everyday Hustle, Conway the Machine, Okay. But if I'm feeling on some like, what am I here for? George Harrison, Pink Floyd, The Who. I'm a guy of many musicianal ears.
If you had to pick one song, I'm making
like
this
my
up,
ear pussy takes a lot of cum shots from music.
Hold on. What did you say?
My ear pussy takes in a lot of music.
Oh yes. I would say that means that you have a very promiscuous ear pussy.
I'm listening to it all. I'm not loyal to one genre. Man.
I mean, would you say...
But country. Hold on now. Country now. That's some shit. I'm like, hey, bro. You might...
No? Not at all.
Old country.
Yeah.
All
country. So, okay.
Like, I'm talking about, like, the country where, like, the dude might or have or might not have been talking about slavery. Like, I'm cool with that.
You're good with that. Like
that type of country, I'm like, okay.
We're back to knowing where we stand, remember? Like
exactly.
Deion Sanders.
This new country will be, dancing hip-hop and then call you a nigga.
This is that
that's
country.
More than Wayland.
So the new country is like, hey, welcome to the concert, y'all.
Nah.
And then when you leave, it's in the parking lot.
I don't like that. I like old country.
That's our plywood country, or your plywood country.
I like old country. Nah, I mean, it's all jokes, man. But country's cool. It's cool, But don't. There is a certain.
You hate it. He hates.
It's just, I like country music. I don't like the country mix music.
I like. Oh, you don't like.
I don't like
trap hop country.
Who?
Why are you hating on that trap hop country?
No, that's just terrible.
Don't you? Why are you? He's looking at me.
You hear me?
Now, to paint a picture, he's looking at me with a dangerous look.
No, that's just terrible.
It's a dangerous,
low-eyed
look of an angry man. But the funny part about children is, yes, no matter which ones you have, the anxiety's there. When it comes to naming children, and what I wanted to get with you about is because since I've known you, I think you've had 3 different names, 4 different names, 5 different names. Like, the situation is fluid. And I was going to ask you, do you find importance or validity in names?
Yeah. Names mean a lot, man. Especially if you can keep like a family tradition or like family things. Like, I think those things are cool in life. You don't have a lot that you really get to. You think about when you're here. You don't get a lot. But names and things are pretty cool, man. If you can keep a family name. So yeah, they're very important to me. They're so important that I'm not picking the name.
Oh.
So I don't want anything to do with it. That's just too much responsibility. That's just you gotta think about it, man. That's responsibility, man. I'm good.
Most men would otherwise want to make sure that they've got some input. You're like, hey, babe,
good, dude. Good.
So if the name's awful, Okay.
I mean, if it's bad, I'll say something.
So,
I'm the guy who doesn't want to command the troops, but I'm gonna tell you how to do it.
Hold on. That's not a fair analysis you just gave me. What you just said is you don't want any input.
No.
This one's for you, girlfriend.
No.
This one's for you.
No.
You don't want any input on the name. However, if it's bad, I hold veto power to say.
Like, if it's bad, like, if it's like, no offense to anyone that might have this
That's a
name.
terrible name. No offense.
But
No
just think about
offense,
that.
Gibraltar.
Just think about it. Think about a very terrible name. And then just thinking about just not saying anything. Oh, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want any input. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let shit ride. No, what I'm saying is I don't want to be like, hey, this is the name we're going with. I like it. No, dude.
What if
I don't want
said
that
name is like a family name? What if it's like Gertrude Hypothesis?
We can find some middle ground.
Okay.
We can find a bridge.
Back.
You know.
Back. I don't want to get.
We don't have to go completely crazy.
Alright, so I've got it. I'm gonna throw my name in the hat. We're gonna call it. If it's a boy, it's little Cosmo, and if it's a girl, it's Cosmonita.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Brandon
Cosmonita
Bourne.
sound like
I do name
crazy
babies.
margarita.
Message my hub. Message my hub. I'll name your baby. Send in a picture. I'll name the baby for you. It's a real thing. Send it. X app. Message my hub. I love y'all, and I will name your children as such.
That's pretty good.
What
That's
if I
good
didn't
size.
like people and I named it like the kid a really
Nah, you
bad
can't
name?
do that because you really just
That's
came
the
up
baby.
with like a good business.
Yeah.
Like, you
Okay.
can't mess this up.
Okay.
But just think about that. Just call me when you want a name. Send me a picture. Oh, okay. That's a Bridget.
That's a Brit. What?
Come on now. Oh, that's a Chandler. Oh, Chad.
Definitely a Tanner.
Okay, come on now, man.
Oh, man. All
Okay,
right.
Jerome.
We'll
You
get
know,
back to that before people
yeah,
start
yeah.
trying to steal our idea. That's TME. Too much entertaining. We own this shit.
There you go. There you go. Stamp it.
Copywritten. Bitches.
Stamp it. You gotta stamp it immediately. You cannot stamp it.
But yes, names do have a significance.
Oh, yeah.
Historically, names were like surnames or attached to your past or a lineage like you were talking about. There's also in other cultures where names were attached to your future. People would say like, hey, I'm going to name you to something. Do you believe you can live up to a name?
You can live up to anything you put up there. You gotta get there.
Gertrude,
You know, but
Hypotenuse, Angelus.
see, that's crazy. Because now you just, I feel like you got something against people named Gertrude. That's the second time you done brought up Gertrude.
I think it's an awful name. There's certain old names. I'm sorry, old folks, but some of y'all got these like Berthas and like there's Wilma. You see what I mean? Like I love Aunt Wilma or my grandma Wilma, but I hate her name. Like if she put another, like if I name there it is. Back to our other question. If your wife comes to you and says, "Baby, baby, baby, this is little Wilma Jean,"
Who?
what do you say?
I mean, where was I during the birth?
You were-
We got to this part.
You're not
Oh.
Wilma Jean.
What about WG? You know, WG or something? What acronym?
Alright, we're gonna get you in trouble. Before we do that, we're gonna get back to the sports, something that Jig knows about.
That's what I.
That guy Jig is the handle. Please don't forget. You can get this all on your major characters. That guy Jig, he's up with that sports stuff. Like he said, he's gonna give it to you honest. And if you want to listen to somebody's shit, you might as well listen to his shit.
They can get out there and spill they humbug. Well, let me spill my humbug. Because it's all humbug.
Embracing the truth about who I really am. Let's never let mediocrity rule our life again. It may have been a mistake.
I had heard a quote, and it was something I thought was important because it's based on this conversation about the NFL getting out of hand with the money, about the NIL, and the landscape of sports changing in general. Another local hero here, Chauncey Billups, recently got the Hall of Fame. He was quoted as saying, "To be here now is unbelievable. I played the right way. I never chased stats. I tried to play for my team and make everybody better, and everything good happened to be because of that.
Yeah, do you think the Detroit Pistons win the championship without Chauncey?
Not a chance.
You know? And even what he did for Denver, you know, and that was obviously later, you know, but still, you know, a guy like Chauncey Billups, you don't see point guards like that who ain't out here trying to go for 20, go for 20, 15. Chauncey would pull up to the arena ready to facilitate, grab a couple boards, play great defense. But ultimately, he's making sure everybody gets their shots. And that's what you need. That's what you need, man. Chauncey Billups is going to go. He's one of those guys, when you look in the Hall of Fame, people are going to be like, how is this guy in the Hall of Fame?
And I think that's a life thing. Like, and I think oftentimes, especially in this world with everything so fast that you get so selfish, we often forget to spread the ball. I mean, I was just listening to a song. It's Kanye. He's talking about, you know, black folks, this and that and the other. We hate to see each other come up. And then once we come up, we hate to put it out there and bring each other up with us. This, for listeners, I think in the context of a black man. So when I bring up stuff like that, because that's how I think, that same thing could be inserted with what's valuable to you or what characteristic makes things different for you. I just think of it that way. Anyone who lives their life can get something from understanding that you don't always need all the credit. There are times in life when you need to step back. Dave Chappelle did something similar. He said, every once in a while you're going to be living your dream. And then there's other times when you're going to be in someone else's. You just need to know the difference.
Dave Chappelle, man, what a goat. What a goat. And what a great quote to bring by him.
And that's the beauty of this show. There's an astute quality to people, and you'd be surprised and humbled by the lessons that you learn and when you're going to be entertaining somebody like that. I'm thrilled, thankful to have entertained and been here with this man. If you could give your baby one song to let them know what it's going to be like to come into this world, what song?
One song.
Have them here.
To have her here. This is a girl, by the way.
Oh, it's a girl. Thank
It's a
you
girl.
for
It's a
correcting
girl.
me because I'm not.
One song. Song one. One song. Today was a good day. That's what I would have her. You know, today was a good day, baby girl.
All
Today
right.
was a good day.
Woke up this morning.
Come on.
Had a breakfast with no swine. Thank you, baby. My boy Cosmic. Much love to them kids.
Yes, sir.
Don't you
Appreciate
forget
you.
to always take it light, and it won't never get too heavy. Be peace, spreader.
Maybe you ought to grab a thesaurus. Maybe you can understand this shit.
Why drive a car?
Cause it's foreign, that ain't my type of language. That chick's my wife, not some peasant that I just call my main bitch. Something I learned from ancestors of mine who came on slave ships. Master don't suck you until you drop and dump you in a ditch. The best defense is to stay spry and infiltrate the host. Then play offense once you're inside, that's how you do the most. Miseducation's a disease, it must be treated so by the revolutionaries who make the conscience grow. It may have been a mistake to grab the mic again. I'm finally facing my demons and feeling right again. No lie, embracing the truth about who I really am. Let's never let